Hey, y'all, what's up? Happy holidays, happy new year. Today, I thought we would just be chill, take it easy, and talk about my yearly reading wrap up. I use two apps to track my reading throughout the year, Fable and StoryGraph, and Fable just came out with their 2025 wrap up. It's a little early because I got at least two more books planned before the end of the month, okay? But let's just go through some of my highlights, some of the books that I've read. I'll pop up some pictures so you can see. Make sure you're following me, s.warren.author or a.johnson.author. I posted them over there already in my stories. Let's get into it. Okay, let's go to my gallery. So, let me see if going to Fable will be better. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so this year I've read 105 books. Yes, 105 books. That's this right here. I've read 105 books. My goal for this year was 75. Y'all, my goal has been 75 for the past 3 years. And I haven't hit it. And it's been 75 for the past 3 years. So when I tell you, like in October, November, when I hit, I think back in October when I hit my 75, I was so excited. I listen to audiobooks and I don't do a lot of ebooks. So my two main modes of reading are audio and physical books, obviously. Yes, I believe that audiobooks is reading. No, I don't care if you disagree with me and you don't think so. We're moving on, right? Well, however much you've read, good for you. Everybody's reading is important. However you choose to consume the content, great for you. Not an argument that I'm willing to have again and again and again, right? So, 140% past my goal. So, my hottest take. I gave Under the Influence a 2-star. On Fable, their average rating was 4 and a quarter stars. Y'all, I thought it was okay. Like, I thought it was good. It's just, you know how you read something and it doesn't quite hit for you. Like, it doesn't resign. That's what I thought. Like, I thought it was okay. It just didn't hit for me. Like, it obviously hit for everybody else. So that was my hottest take. And it says, I'm in the top 10% of romance readers on Fable. So I keep on saying, I don't like romance. I don't like romance, right? So, I don't like just romance. But if there's romance in the book, as you can see by all of my stuff, right? I like romance in the book. But just a romance, like one of my books that I gave 5 stars because it was excellent was Sweatpants Season by Danielle Allen. That's a straight romance. It wasn't predictable. Did I know what was going to happen at the end? Yes. But what I dislike about romances is the predictability, and then the story kind of just coasts. One thing leads to another that happens to another because you know the end result is they're going to get together. I believe that Danielle Allen writes her romances in a great way where they're going to get together at the end, right? But throughout that, I'm interested in the journey and what's happening in the meantime. The conflict is like an actual conflict and not like you heard me wrong or something like that, So I really love how her and Tay Monet, I really love how they do their romances. But according to Fable, I'm a romance reader. Okay, I'm a romance reader. My rarest read. I am a Blake Pierce fan. This is The Perfect Muse by Blake Pierce. This is number 24, 25 in her series, something crazy like that. Only 2 other people on Fable listed that they have read this book. It's just, I'm so deep up in this series, y'all. And whenever I'm reading and I'm there's a lull, or I'm okay, and I don't have something that I'm immediately starting next, it's my comfort series. Let me go back and let me read another of the Jessie Hunt series. Let me go back and let me read another. I have 3 of her books from the Riley Page series up here. And it's just, I love Blake Pierce as a writer. She writes crime fiction, and it's typical for typical crime fiction, like that thriller, psychological thriller, crime fiction, and I love it. But the Jesse Hunt series is definitely a comfort read for me. My most popular pick, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. So 455,537 people, other people on Fable, have also read this book. What did I give this one? I gave this one 4 stars, I believe. I really enjoyed it. The first book was bomb. Okay. I really enjoyed the first book. The second one, not so much. How I felt personally was we spent the whole first book getting me invested in these 2 characters, right? These 2 characters are the characters that I care about. Then in the second book, now I all of a sudden need to be invested in everybody else until the end, where now my attention is shifted. And I'm like, I don't care about these people. I don't care about Cousin Girl. I don't care about Old Boy. I didn't care about none of them. Like, I was invested in the 2 main characters from the first book, and that's not who I got in the first part of the second series. So that's why the second book felt a little flat for me. But overall, it was an awesome series. Great magic system. Very different. Loved it. Loved it. My goal was on average, I finished the book in 5 days. It says, which is 6 days faster than most readers. That don't matter. Usually, if I'm reading a book, like if I have a physical book, I finish it in more than 5 days because I read for long chunks of time at a time. If I'm listening to a book, I do it in the car when I'm driving on my commute. So like during weekends, my listening rate is very low. During breaks, my listening rate is very low because I listen in the car. And it does take me, if it's about an 8, 9, 10-hour book, it takes me about a week to read that. So my most underrated book that I think was And Then There Was You by Tay Monet. That is a duology romance. Loved it. My top read of the year. So I chose The Things the Gods Break. I chose that as my top read. That is the second book in the series from, can you see it, or am I in the way? My fantasy shelf is behind me. This the second book from the Games the Gods Play. I'm gonna have to do the reverse thing so that shows up correctly. But the Games the Gods. This book was a 5-star read. Okay, so when I was choosing what was my top read of the year, it's a couple romances I gave 5-star. That I gave 5 stars. I gave Phantasma was very high rated for me, and Metal Slinger was very high rated for me. And then there was a couple of young adult books like Oathbound, very high rated for me. And then for Oathbound, on my thing, I put that it's the prettiest cover. But it was very highly rated for me. And so I chose The Things the Gods Break because I enjoyed the book. But as I was reading it, I'm like, are we spending the whole book in Tartarus? This is what the whole thing is? With like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's going to be like, why did she make, I was talking big mess, right? But I ended up loving it. I ended up loving it. So that's why I chose that one for my top read of the year. So let me go to StoryGraph and then kind of search through and pick out a couple more books to talk about. Oh, so on StoryGraph, I'm doing 2 challenges. One challenge is the Keep It 100 challenge, 100 books in 2025. Did that. And then my other challenge is the 100 library book challenge, and I'm only at a 78% in that. I'm not going to make that one by the end of the year, but that's okay. And I'm just going to pick out, y'all, just some highlights, some books that I really enjoyed. I'll pop them up on the screen the best I can if I believe that when I do that to show you, it doesn't show very well. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. So, Phantasma. Oh my goodness. Phantasma. I have Phantasma right here. Loved it. Loved it. Loved this book. This is fantasy, enemies to lovers. The magic system is unique in my perspective. Is necromancy mixed in with it. The second book is called like Enchant something. I haven't read that one yet, y'all. I don't prefer series where the second, third, fourth book is about different people. I don't prefer books like that. So I haven't read it, but that is a book that I 100% recommend that I've read. Nonfiction books. I read. Nope, I didn't buy it. Worthy. That's Jada Pinkett Smith's her memoir, her autobiography. I enjoyed the mess out of that. I gave that 3.5 stars. I listened to it, which I think is a better experience, either listening or immersive reading it, so that you can hear her inflections and everything. I was engrossed in it, loved it. I do have Will's book that you can hardly see. See, look, I need to stop taking stuff. I'm not taking this down. But I have Will's book up here. That book I gave 5 stars. That's also a book that I recommend, but I think you should either listen to it or immersive read it. The Dark Place. That book was interesting. It's a square because I listened to it. This is a young adult book, young adult horror. And I really enjoyed this. I really don't do horrors too often because like books don't scare me. Like a horror movie, I'm like, right, but books really don't scare me, so I really don't read them too often. But the mixture of young adult and horror is by Brittany S. Lewis. By young adult and horror in this novel was great. It was an awesome young adult, like middle grades to young adult book. Loved it. Of course, Meadow Slinger. I have this, so I'm not going to hold that up. Meadow Slinger. Recommend. Read. Love this book. I'm not giving spoilers, guys. I'm gonna try not to give spoilers. I know I keep on repeating myself over and over again, but this is a fantasy book 1 in the Fire and Metal fantasy. The best part I like about this book, which is it's a reason she wrote it like that, was in the beginning, it's spoken in first person, but you don't always know who's talking. And as I was reading the first couple chapters, the first time I read this book, I'm like, who? And it was irritating me. And I was like, oh, this is the person who's speaking. But that was a theme throughout the book, and there was a reason for it. Miss Rachel Snyder, yes, it was a reason for it. There's a lot of people who said they didn't like it because of the twist. There's a major twist. A lot of people said, I didn't like it. It kind of came out of nowhere. It didn't make any sense. A lot of people like me that was like, oh my gosh, right? Highly recommend. Delicious Monsters. This is another YA horror that I did not expect to like. When did I read this? I listened to this. I borrowed it from the library. Finished it in February. Something that the cover, I was on Libby. The cover was interesting. I started listening to it, and it's kind of like haunted house type of book, but it's a lot of history and some trauma along with the haunted house, the little girl finding her way, and it's kind of like a dual, talking about it in the past, talking about it in the present, talking about it in going back and forth like that. The way this book is written is excellent. Books don't scare me, so like I can't give any points on that tip, but it is supposed to be a horror. It is like a haunted house type of things, like Forgotten Black Girls type of book. Love this. You see, I bought it. I told you I listened to it on Libby. and I went out and bought it. Okay, 17 minutes. Let's just do a couple more. The Games the Gods Play. I already talked about that. Love that book. A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. I have that up there. I'm not going to grab it. I have that. That was a romance that I thought was cute. So I really like Tia Williams. Her 7 Days in June. I really like Tia Williams. Her 7 Days in June I thought was cute. A Love Song for Ricky Wilde was cute. I gave this 3.75 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a love story. It's a love story. It's written like a love story. It kind of has a little twist because there's like some history and some past and present type stuff that is put together really well. So that's a book that I recommend. I enjoyed. Oh, Beast of War. If I have to recommend a trilogy, a YA trilogy, the Legendborn trilogy is one YA trilogy I recommend, and the Beast of Prey trilogy is another trilogy that I recommend. I'll put these up on the screen. It is a very like African history, but it's like knowing the history of the tribes present. They kind of live a certain way and they do stuff a certain way, and so when the kids are growing up, this is the way they've always done stuff. But just how magic is introduced, and then how magic is unraveled as you go through the trilogy is great. There's a whole lot of different tricks and tips and twists and stuff put in there that's like, oh my gosh. And it's like that type of thing that always keeps you on your toes. But it's one of those, like, it's very in line with Children of Blood and Bone. It's in line kind of with Oathbound. More with Children of Blood and Bone than Oathbound. But it's a recommend. See, I got really white again. There we go. It's a recommend. Highly, highly recommend. Okay, one more. Let me do one more. Well, Oathbound. I read Oathbound. Talked about that. Go read it. Oh, this book, The Landlord. How high is that? I read The Landlord. I got this sent to me from somebody in my book club. There was a giveaway that I read. I read that book, and woo, it was crazy. Like, a couple wants to move into this house. They all have all these rules and regulations. They sign a lease, but then the owner, who they've never met before, changes the lease after they've signed the paper. It's crazy. It's drama, but suspense. But it's crazy. There's a whole lot of twists and stuff going on. And it just leaves you like, what? And like hindsight or that kind of third party looking, you like, but it's, and the stuff start happening. It's great read. I would definitely recommend. Who writes this book? It's by Brandon Massey. Let me get the book. Landlord by Brandon Massey. This was an actual, I didn't listen to this. I got the book and I read it from the book club. But it's like, he owns your house. He owns your family. He owns you. Y'all, this is a great read. Something else I recommend. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. It's kind of like 15 minutes of me yakking, just talking about that standout books and stuff that I read this year. Fable coming out with the 2025 wrap-up was really exciting just for me to reflect and look back on that. One thing that I always pride myself on is that I love to read. So like, yeah, I'm an author and like read my shit 100%. But like, I love at my heart, I love to read. I'm a part of book clubs. I buy books like nobody's business. I've read Like 90% of the books on my shelf is just reading as something that is core at my heart. And that could be because I'm indie. It could be because I'm not like a New York Times seller or whatever. But like I just love reading at my core, and I love talking about books. Usually when I do reviews and books and stuff, oh, I spoiled the mess out of them. Let's really talk about it. People have been saying recently that I just wanted to know whether you liked it or not without you giving spoilers. So y'all let me know down below which one are you? Do you like hearing give reviews with or without spoilers of the book? Let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of freestyle type of video. I know I haven't done a monthly wrap up since like April or something. But I've been reading. I didn't stop reading. I just fell off on the videos. If that's something in 2026 that we like to see back as a good interruption for like our regularly scheduled routine, I can most definitely do that. Y'all just let me know. Bye-bye.